Ancient Indian scientists. In this video you will learn about the contribution made by ancient Indians in the field of science, mathematics, medical science, yoga, astrology, astronomy and ayurveda. Watch till the end to know about ancient Indian scientists and their researches. Press the like button if you get value from this video. Then please share the video. Science. There are many Indians who contributed to science. So I will tell you about scientists of ancient India. First, Maharishi Kanada. Kanada was a 6th century scientist of Vaisheshika school, one of the 6 systems of Indian philosophy. His original name was Aulukya. He lived sometimes between 6th century to 2nd century BCE. He got the name Kanada because even as a child he was interested in very small particles called kana, which means atoms. Now we talk about some works of Kanada. He says that the atom must be spherical since it should be the same in all dimensions. There are 9 constituents of realities, 4 classes of atoms: earth, water, light and air, space, time, direction, infinity of soul and mind. Every object of creation is made of atoms, which in turn connect with each other to form molecules. Atoms are eternal and their combinations constitute the empirical material world. There are 6 categories of experience: substance, quality, activity, generality, particularity and inherence. Apart from this, Kanada might have already presented the same law of motion attributed to Newton as part of the Vaisheshika Sutras. In the 5th chapter of Vaisheshika Sutra, Kanada mentions various empirical observations and natural phenomena such as falling of object to the ground, rising of the fire and heat upwards, the growth of grass upward, the nature of rainfall and thunderstorm, the flow of liquid, the movement toward a magnet among many others. Ask why these things happen, then attempt to integrate his observations with his theories on atoms, molecules and their interaction. He classified observation event into 2, those caused by volition and those caused by subject-object conjunctions. Maths. Now take a look at some of this contribution of ancient Indian mathematicians. Second, Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta was a 5th century mathematician, physicist, astrologer, astronomer. At the age of 23, he wrote Aryabhattiya, which is a summary of mathematics of his time. Aryabhatta called himself a native of Kusumpura or Patliputra, present-day Patna, Bihar. In the first section, he describes the method of denoting big decimal numbers by alphabets. In the second section, we find difficult questions from topics of modern-day mathematics such as number theory, geometry, trigonometry and Bijganit or algebra. The remaining 2 sections are on astronomy. Aryabhatta showed that 0 was not a numeral only, but also a symbol and a concept. Discovery of 0 enables Aryabhatta to find out the exact distance between the earth and the moon. The discovery of 0 also opened up new dimensions of negative numbers. The last 2 sections of Aryabhattiya were on astronomy. In ancient India, the science of astronomy was well advanced. It was called Khagol Shastra. Khagol was the famous astronomical observatory at Nalanda, where Aryabhatta studied. In fact, the science of astronomy was highly advanced and our ancestors were proud of it. The aim behind the development of the science of astronomy was the need to have accurate calendars, a better understanding of climate and rainfall pattern, for timely sowing and choice of crops, fixing the date of seasons and festivals, navigation, calculation of time and casting of horoscope for the use in astrology. Knowledge of astronomy, particularly knowledge of tides and the star, was of the great importance in trade because the requirement of crossing the ocean and desert during night time. He also gave a scientific explanation for solar and lunar eclipse, clarifying that the ellipse. Third, BHASKARACHARYA. He was an Indian mathematician and astronomer. He was born in Bijapur in Karnataka. Bhaskara and his works represent a significant contribution to mathematical and astronomical knowledge in the 12th century. He has been called the greatest mathematician of medieval India. His main work, Siddhanta Shiromani, it is divided into 4 sections: Leelavati or arithmetic, Bijganit or algebra, Goladhyay or sphere, and Grahaganit or mathematics of planet. In Leelavati, solution of quadratic, cubic and quartic indeterminate equations are explained. Bhaskara introduced Chakravat method or the cyclic method to solve algebra equations. This method was rediscovered 6 centuries later by European mathematicians who called it inverse cycle. He works in many more things like arithmetic, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, astronomy. In the 19th century, an Englishman, James Taylor, translated Leelavati and made this great work known to the world. preliminary concept of infinitesimal calculus, along with notable contribution toward integral calculus. Medical science. The fourth Rishi is Susruta. Susruta was a pioneer in the field of surgery. He studied human anatomy with the help of dead body. The SUSRUTA Samhita, in its extant form, it is 184 chapters, contains description of 1120 illnesses, 700 medical plants, 64 preparation from mineral sources and 57 preparation based on animal sources. In SUSRUTA Samhita, the method of selecting and preserving a dead body for the purpose of its detailed study has also been described. The dead body of an old man or a person who died of a severe disease was not generally considered for study. The body needed to be perfectly clean and then preserved in the bark of a tree. It was then kept in a cage and hidden carefully in a spot in a river. There, the current of the river softened it. After 7 days, it was removed from the river. It was then cleaned with a brush made of grassroot, hair, and bamboo. When this was done, every inner or outer part of the body could be seen clearly. The SUSRUTA Samhita also travelled from India to other parts of the world. During the early 8th century, the text was translated into Arabic as Kitab Sasun al-Hind. SUSRUTA's great contribution was in the field of rhinoplasty, or plastic surgery, and ophthalmic surgery, or removal of cataracts. In those days, cutting of nose and ears was a common punishment. Restoration of teeth or limbs lost in a war was a great blessing. In SUSRUTA Samhita, there is a very accurate step-by-step description of these operations. Surprisingly, the steps followed by SUSRUTA are strikingly similar to those followed by modern surgeons while doing plastic surgery. SUSRUTA Samhita also gives description of 101 instruments used in surgery. Some serious operations performed included taking fetus out of the womb, repairing the damaged rectum, removing stone from the bladder, etc. Does it not sound interesting and wonderful? Fifth scientist was Patanjali. The science of yoga was developed in ancient India as an allied science of Ayurveda for healing without medicine at the physical and mental level. The meaning of word yoga literally meaning yoking the mind to the inner self after detaching it from the outer subjects of senses. Yoga is physical as well as mental. Physical yoga is called Hatha yoga. Generally, it aims at removing a disease and restoring healthy condition to the body. Raj yoga is mental yoga. Its goal is self-realization and liberation from bondage by achieving physical, mental, emotional and spiritual balance. The credit of systematically presenting this great science goes to Patanjali. In the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, Om is spoken of as the symbol of God. He referred to Om as a cosmic sound continuously flowing through the ether, fully known only to be illuminated. Besides Yoga Sutras, Patanjali also wrote a work on medicine and worked on Panini's grammar known as Mahabhasya. So, if you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.